This girls basketball season preview show is brought to you by Holmes Siding Contractors. I'm Matt Croy, and the Highland Lady Hawks, fresh off another terrific season last year, going 22-5, and the IVC South Division champions going unbeaten at 12-0. Highland, of course, falling to Waterford in the Division 7 Regional Championship last year. Waterford, of course, went on to win the state title in D7 a season ago. Key losses to last year's team, of course, Joplin Yoder, now a freshman at Ashland University, playing for the Eagles. She averaged 16 points and 8.5 rebounds last year. Trish Troyer averaged 8 points per game for last year's team as well for the Highland Lady Hawks team. And Ellie Habiger averaged 6 points and 4.5 rebounds, all now gone to graduation. But also key returnees to this year's Highland team, of course, junior point guard Macy Mullet averaged 8 points per game as a sophomore last year. And also back, of course, seniors Evie Mast averaged 7.5 points per game, and also Tori Weaver averaged 2 points per contest. And Perrin Mishler, as a sophomore last year, now a junior, averaged 4 points per game a season ago. Now alongside fourth-year head basketball coach for the Highland Lady Hawks, that is Brady Stable. And Brady, hard to believe you're fourth year as the head basketball coach, and we're looking forward to another terrific season for your group.
Yeah, it's crazy. Think about that this summer. Had 4 full summers now and had a chance to be with some kids all the way through high school. And so it's fun to kind of see them come into their own, and especially see some of our younger kids kind of come up to the junior high and lower high school levels that I got to see as elementary kids, and so it's fun to be a part of that process.
Great to be a part of that. Obviously, as always, you're looking to replace some key players from last year, and you kind of start that during the summer, right? You mentioned summer's a big thing for this Highland basketball program. Kind of take us through the off-season, what you've seen so far from your group.
Yeah, we had an awesome summer. We had kids shoot 40,000 shots, do 40 hours of ball handling, and it just the culture that our older kids have created is something that our younger kids want to be a part of. Our junior high kids all love being around, and then to transition that into our preseason and now a practice. We've had 3 really good weeks of practice, and we're ready to roll.
With that said, kind of look at your team this year. What are some things that players you're looking to kind of lean on the most going into the season?
Yeah, we've got 2 really good returning seniors that are some of the best practice players that I've had a chance to be around. Tori and Evie are awesome kids. Evie just committed to Baldwin Wallace last week, and so what they bring to us leadership-wise is so huge on the court and off the court. And then Macy Mullet was our point guard last year, and so we looked to her a lot on the floor, and to have almost a second coach out there on the floor is huge as well.
Important to have them. How about some new players we might see some more minutes here from this year as well?
Yeah, I think we got to see a little bit of what Perrin can do last year, and in the 5 months that she's had off, I think she's made some tremendous growth. She's gotten stronger, and so I think we should have an exciting year from her. And then some of the other kids in her class, Sienna Immel, Peyton, Easton, have a chance to be some really, really good players for us and give us a lot on the floor. And then a couple incoming freshmen we think can do the same, and then Reagan Zerger as well.
Always high expectations for Highland. No question, I'm sure nothing different this year. What is the biggest thing you're looking from your group this year as you kind of go into this campaign?
Yeah, I think last couple of years we've been blessed with a little bit of size, and so I think that's made up for some defensive and rebounding deficiencies. And so this year that's going to be a big focus for us, because if we don't defend and rebound, we're not going to win a lot of games. And so got to get that locked in early, but we're ready to play. We feel like we've been practicing forever going against each other and had some good scrimmages, but it's an exciting time of year.
Looking forward to getting the season started, but kind of looking ahead a little bit, as we always like to talk about, Brady, in mid-January. The Classic of the Country will back again. I know a lot of great teams back again here at the Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I say it every year, but I really feel like it has a chance to be one of the best years ever from a prospect-wise, but also we've got some awesome local teams, and when you have that, you get better crowds, bigger crowds. Monday, we've got the best team in the entire country coming to play, and the best player in the country, and then like I said, some awesome local teams. We're excited. We've got defending state champion in Bellevue Saturday night, and then a defending state runner-up in Norwayne on Monday night. So it should be fun.
Should be a lot of fun. Brady, thanks you once again. Of course, Highland, their first game will be November 28th at Waynedale. We'll have that game for you on WKLM and also video live streamed on the WKLM YouTube page. And alongside few of the Highland Lady Hawks basketball players this time, junior point guard Macy Millett, also senior guard Evie Mass, and also senior guard Tori Weaver as well. And Macy, thanks for joining me here. And for you, being a junior this year, how have you approached the season, Macy, coming in here, now a junior here, the experience you have now as a guard leading this team?
Yeah, it's been great. It's really fun. I have two great seniors along by my side. I think it's pretty much the same as last year with my role and everything, but I think this year all three of us are going to step up a little bit more, and it'll be fun.
There's more of a confidence and comfortability now being you're as a junior this year for you.
Yes, very much so. Like, I've had another year of experience, so it'll be really good for another, I don't know.
Going back to the off season, Macy, for you, what are some things maybe you picked up during the off season, maybe helped you as a player and as the team, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've put a lot of time into the gym this summer. I've gotten better at different moves. My shot's definitely more developed than it was last year, and I'm really excited to be able to put that out on the court.
All right, Evie Mast also alongside me as well, and now a senior. And Evie averaged 7.5 points per game last year, and you grew more into a more offensive player last year. Talk about maybe that confidence you got last year as an offensive player, where that came from, and your mindset as a player this year, I guess.
Yeah, so, I mean, last year I knew that I had to change my role a little bit from just being a defender my freshman and sophomore year to more of an offensive role. And then I think this year, preseason, off-season, putting in work, different moves so I can get to the hoop quicker, and knowing that I have to be a scorer more this year. So I think I've prepped well for that. So.
For you, obviously, going to be committed to playing basketball for Baldwin Wallace, and your focus is on this year playing for Highland here. But just what led your decision to go on to go to Baldwin Wallace as well?
I mean, I love basketball, and I want to keep playing it. So, I mean, that was my final decision. They have a great program there, and they want to win like we do, so that's why I picked there. So
outstanding. Also, Tori Weaver alongside me as well. And Tori, you've always been the scrappy one for this team here. Talk us about your role as a player, what you're trying to do out there on the basketball court for your team.
I feel like my role is getting extra possessions and really going out, diving for balls, taking charges. That's really what my role has developed, and even more this year, taking it more into offensive, trying to score more, look to get my teammates open more.
I was going to ask you about that in terms of maybe increasing that role this year. What are some things you've done during the offseason to help you come out more of a creased role, I guess, for your team this year?
We've been in the gym a lot, getting up extra shots, working on finishing moves, shooting on the gun, stuff like that, and then just growing as a team, doing stuff as a team together.
I mentioned being scrappy and things like that. It's one thing to talk about that. You seem to pride yourself on doing that. Why do you like being that kind of player?
I'm just growing up or playing basketball, just was more aggressive than kids and just took that as my role.
All right, and Macy, just for you, rounding up here with you guys one more time here, talk about this season as a group. What do you guys think you need to do to get to accomplish your goals, I guess, as a team this year?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that our team right now is really close. I think we have really great chemistry on and off the court, so I think that's going to be a big help during games, and yeah.
All right, Evie, and yourself, describe your team so far. What do you think going into the season, and what do you think you need to do to take that next step?
Yeah, I mean, this is we've had a pretty tough preseason with scrimmages and our schedule and stuff. So I think turning in our ups and downs and becoming more of a consistent team, I think that would be good farther along the season. And yeah, I have high hopes this season. So.
All right, and Tori, for you, just playing against this tough competition during the preseason, how does that allow you guys to be better as a team, being battle-tested, I guess, to start the year?
Yeah, playing against good competition, I mean, getting to play together as a team in practice, you're usually going against each other. Being able to go as a team together, you always find little things you need to work out, and we've been working on those, so we're excited.
All right, well, thanks for your time. Good luck on the season for you girls. To Macy Millett, Tori Weaver, and Evie Mast. The West Holmes Lady Knights basketball team coming off a 13-12 campaign last year. They finished up at 7-5 and in fourth place in the Ohio Cardinal Conference. West Holmes advanced to the Division IV District Championship game last year. They were fall to Indian Creek last year in that district title game from a season ago. Key losses to last year's West Holmes team. Ava Yoder, she averaged 11 points and 6.5 rebounds. Greta Rollins averaged for her last year 4.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. And also Joel Brown, guard for West Holmes last year, averaged 5 points points and 3 rebounds from a season ago. But key returnees for West Holmes' team, certainly they'll help lead the way for the Lady Knights, will be senior guards in Zelina Proper as well as Briar Klein. Of course, for Proper, averaging 6 points and 4 rebounds last year. Briar Klein, a big scorer for West Holmes last year, averaged 10.5 points and also 5 rebounds per contest. And also guard Kara McMillan back, averaged 2.5 points and 2.5 rebounds. Those players, with a host of others, will help lead the way for West Holmes this season. West Holmes will kick off their season, of course, against Canton Central Catholic at the Smithville Barn Ball Classic. With that said, let's go out to the dungeon to Jake Seidel alongside 8th-year head basketball coach for the West Holmes Lady Knights. That's Lindsey Belden.
Jake Seidel here with Lady Knights head coach Lindsey Belden. And Coach, we'll talk a little bit about last season. You saw some growing pains, some ups and downs, and you lost in the district championship game to a very good Indian Creek team. What did you see last season? What did you think was your biggest growth from last year?
I mean, we've been playing the district championship game for the last, I don't know how many years it's been at this point. But I felt like we got better as the season went on. Our record, we've had a better record than we had last season, but I felt like, some years you're like, okay, we should be really good this year, and you're just really good all year. And I thought that last year's team from November to February got better every single day and every week, and we got a little bit better. And so, I mean, honestly, we were playing our best basketball in that district championship game, and a couple things go our way, and we're winning that game. So, I mean, it was a process the entire season.
And, Coach, it seems every year you have some young players that are able to step in and contribute right away. We'll talk about your seniors that did that their freshman year, but who should we be looking for in the younger end this year to maybe take that next step forward?
I mean, we have a good group of juniors and seniors that have, are going to need to be leaders for us on the court and off the court. And then we have a bunch of sophomores this year that right now are all very similar to each other. And so, with having 8 juniors and seniors, we don't need all 7 of them to play significant varsity minutes. We need them we're going to use them in the varsity game, but, we need to develop them throughout the year because we're graduating 5 next year, and those sophomores plus those couple of juniors will be our team next year. And so, those sophomores, we're looking for a few of them to separate themselves right now because, like I said, there's several of them that are all very, very similar, and the reality is you're not going to play 15 kids in a varsity game. So, we need some of those sophomores to kind of step up and be aggressive on the floor. And we see it potential in all of them. But, to name a few, we got Mari Patterson, Gabby Fowler, Brindley Malachin. Chelsea Cooper's just coming back from an injury, so today is actually her first full contact practice. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. But, yeah, there's a group of them that we're excited to have them, but we need to keep pushing them every day.
And I don't want to skip over your juniors as well that have had a great career. So can we talk a little bit about what you've seen out of them early on in the, training camp portion of this season?
Yeah. So we have 3 juniors. It's been a small group forever. Rory Wilcox, Maddie Fair, and Kara McMillan. And those kids, Kara's had a little bit more varsity experience than Maddie and Rory have. But this preseason, just seen some maturity in those 3 as far as I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be vocal, they know what to do, just making plays that maybe they didn't make last year, and not playing with so much timidness that we saw in some of those kids last year. And so just that aggressiveness that they're starting to show and some confidence that they're gaining.
Let's talk a little bit about Briar and Zelina. We heard it last week when we were out celebrating them signing. They're going to continue their athletic careers in college. They've really been a force to be reckoned with since their freshman year. I remember coming in and covering games early on in their career when either one of them or both of them could go off on any given night, and I'm sure that's something you look forward to having not only on the floor, but as someone to help lead these girls on the floor.
Yeah, those 2 have been really fun to coach all 4 years, and they're going to create their own offense, or they're going to create offense for other kids. And so just that constant of, what you're going to get from those two night in and night out. And I think, aside from the basketball side of it, I've seen their leadership skills really step up, just in the fact of how hard they're playing and making other kids play hard with them. They've developed their skills. They've worked countless hours in the off season on their individual basketball skills. And so, it's been fun this preseason to see those two in particular get other kids joining in with them. So, and then we have 3 other seniors, Cassie Hollisek, Ella Willard, and Lily Brown, that we're expecting big things from those kids as well on the floor, and just to be leaders in general.
Coach, you play in the OCC, which is from top to bottom one of the most competitive girls basketball conferences in the region, let alone the state of Ohio. How does playing in such a tough conference help prepare your girls for those deep postseason runs?
Yeah, we're facing teams more nights than not that are super competitive, that are going to push us to have to be at our best to win games. And so, you're not getting to the sectional semifinal or the district semi and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, now we got to play hard, or now we have to do this, because we're doing that every single night. And so it's good for our kids to train like that throughout the entire season, and not just, okay, now it's tournament time, now we're going to play. And kind of we're trying to do the same thing with practices as well. Like, we need to go so hard and make each other so uncomfortable in practice that you get to a game and somebody's not pressuring you as hard because your teammates pressured you harder all week long.
And Coach, finally, hard to believe regular season starting in less than a week. What's been your message so far to the girls about what you want to see from them when this season starts?
The biggest thing we've been working on right now is on-ball defense. We are smaller this year. We graduated our post players. And so we don't really have any true post players. We're trying to make a few kids post defenders, because we're going to need that throughout OCC play. But we're trying to pressure the heck out of the ball, and just make people uncomfortable, get up in passing lanes, and just try to cause chaos on the defensive end. And so that's kind of where we've been focused this preseason.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck to you and your team this year.
Thank you.
Here with West Holmes seniors Briar Klein and Zelina Proper. And Briar, we'll start with you. We talked a little bit about this last week when I met with you guys, signing for college. But what's it mean to have one more ride here with the Knights girls basketball team?
Oh, we're super excited. Me and Zelina have had a lot of fun these past 3 years, and we're just looking forward to meeting some of our goals this last year.
Zelina, what about you?
Honestly, I feel the same. I'm just excited to do one more season with my best friends.
And we'll keep the mic with you for this one. You two made an immediate impact the first time you stepped on the court for the Lady Knights. What's it mean to you to have been able to been in this program for so long and see a lot of success and help grow that program?
Honestly, it's just a fun program to be with overall. The team atmosphere is always good, and coming in as freshmen, we were obviously a little timid, but the upperclassmen were really welcoming, so we try to do the same to the freshmen.
Briar, what about you?
Like Zelina said, being a part of this program is something special. Along with all of our fans in the community, like I said, just being a Knight is super special, and it's something that I'll remember forever.
So you two are seniors now. Briar, what steps have you taken to kind of grow in the leadership role for this team?
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to step into a leadership role if it wasn't for the upperclassmen I've had in the past. Aviana and Greta and Jewel, along with the ones that we had our sophomore year, like Keegan, Allie, and all of them. Like, seeing those girls be leaders for us is what makes it easy to be a leader.
Zelina, what about you?
Going along with what Briar said, I just try my best to be how they were towards us. I try to communicate on and off the court and just try to be a good person to everyone.
So last season, some growing pains for your team. I know you had your ups and your downs. There were some real positive notes. What are you guys working on to keep those positive notes at the forefront this season?
We're doing a lot of defensive work and communicating and just trying to play good team basketball.
Briar, what about you?
Like Zelina said, defense is definitely our focus. We're obviously smaller this year, so for us, defense is going to be key to run the floor and get some scores and fast breaks.
Hard to believe we're less than a week away from the start of the regular season. What are your guys' goals for the start of the season all the way to the end of the season?
For us, it's just going to be to compete, play our hardest, and put everything we have into every game. Like we said, defense is definitely a focus, so our goal is to pressure and make every team we play uncomfortable.
Zelina?
I think the same thing. We just try to take one game at a time and not try to look ahead too far. But obviously the overall end at the end of the season is to win a district championship.
Okay, well, ladies, thanks for your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Well, make sure you tune in to WKLM throughout the season. We'll be broadcasting 69 regular season basketball games for girls and boys throughout the season. Of course, we'll be video live streaming many of those games, courtesy of Claxon Communications on the WKLM YouTube page, and of course as well on FM 95.3 and WKLM-FM.com. And also look in mid-January, of course, as we'll be the major sponsor again of the Classic in the Country. We'll be live streaming all the games this year, all 3 days at the Classic in the Country, so don't miss that as well. Again, you can check out our basketball broadcast schedule on our website at WKLM-FM.com and click on the On-Air tab. And that's been this girls basketball season preview show brought to you by Holmes Siding Contractors.